All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Lake Pro Tackle. We've got a super awesome video for y'all today. We've got some brand new products that I want to go over and share with y'all. So before we get into that, guys, if you are new, thank you so much for clicking on this video here. Lake Pro Tackle, we are up in North Texas, and we've got a whole bunch of rods, reels, and tackle. We're a pretty small tackle shop, but we have a pretty good selection of hard to get tackle, whether it's JDM products, hard to get like glide baits and shop garage baits, kind of like that. We also have a huge selection of rods and reels that you can check out online at lakeprotackle.com, or if you're in the area, definitely stop by the store. This is our main storefront here where we have all the rods, reels, and hard baits. In the other building, maybe you've seen us, we have a worm bar where you can buy soft plastic in bulk. So go check all that out, lakeprotackle.com, guys. But let's go ahead and get into this video here. So starting it off, we're gonna start with the brand new Stradic. Now this Shimano Stradic is super, super awesome. And there aren't too many differences from this Stradic from the previous generation. A few cosmetic upgrades, I think. So on the spool, let me get it to where you can see it. On the spool here, you can kind of see if my camera wants to focus quickly today. You can kind of see on the spool here, right on the side, they kind of changed that just a little bit. But cosmetically, kind of the same reel. This reel does have Infinity Drive, Duracross Drag, Infinity Cross 3 on it, and honestly, I think it's really just a smoother version of the old one. I don't know technology-wise too many of the upgrades, but we have them in stock right now. We have them in 3,000 currently, and that's the only size we have. We are planning to get some 2,500 and maybe some 4,000 in for those of you who do fish a little more for like redfish or something like that. But these 3,000s here for bass fishing, guys, this is all you ever need, in my opinion. Now, Tim does like to do a few special things. Tim is our tackle store manager. He does fishes a wobble head with a spinning setup, so he likes to fish a 4,000 on a Miller Rods, what is it, Spin Freak rod. It's like a 7'7" rod, like medium heavy almost, but 3,000 Stradic, guys, can't beat it. It is extremely, extremely smooth compared to the other one, and you can definitely feel a huge difference. Cool. But this reel here, again, is super, super smooth. I mean, I can't feel any gears in it. The drag on top, it clicks, and it's very nice feedback on it. You can probably hear it right there. But super great feedback on the drag, and the drag can lock down to all the way down to 20 pounds of drag. So this thing has a ton of drag when you lock it down, and it's also super, super smooth. Has 6+1 bearings in it, and does not come with a reverse switch here, so no back reeling, only forward reeling, which, I mean, honestly is fine to me. I think another big difference is going to be the bail system on it. The bail is shaped a little bit differently from previous models, but the Stradic here, can't go wrong with it. If you're looking for a great, not budget reel, this definitely isn't a budget reel, but this is going to be kind of that first tier when you hit something that's, you feel it and you're like, oh wow, this is super, super nice. So the Stradic 3,000 XGs are now available. Let's see if there's anything else I'm missing. It's a 6.4 to 1 gear ratio, so you're still getting a good amount of torque out of the reel. This reel 3,000 weighs 7.9 ounces, which isn't terrible for something that feels as bulletproof as this. I think that 7.9 ounces is totally justified. So let's go ahead and move on here to the next product. And the next product we're going to be talking about is this one right here. This is the Curado M200, and we have this in 3 different gear ratios, and we will be getting them in left hand here shortly. The right hand are the first ones to land, but we have them in the regular 200, 200 HG, and 200 XG. And this is one of those products that really, really stood out to me at ICAST when we were there in July. Cosmetically, a lot of things changed between the Curado K and the Curado M. Now, most of the technology in the reels here are pretty much the same. One of the main differences that I'm gonna note with the Curado M, and let's do that real quick here. So some of the main technology in the Curado series is going to be handed down from previous generations of Metaniums and Bantams. So right off the bat, the biggest change I think they made to the Curado is the MGL3 spool. Now, what does the MGL3 spool do? So the MGL3 spool, what it does, it is a much lighter spool. It allows you to cast a huge range of lures. So, you know, it's not like a BFS spool. I guess it's kind of like a BFS spool where you can throw really, really light lures, but you can still also throw those bigger like mag draft or small glide style baits. And you can definitely get away with throwing some, I guess, medium-sized glides, something like a 8-inch like bull shad or 8-inch like swimmer, something like that, like a Gantarelle. You can definitely still throw it on a 200 size reel like this. But you can also throw with that MGL3 spool, you can throw light line, like 10-pound line. Now, this wouldn't be my first pick for something like a crank, like a jerkbait reel, because it's not super light. It's still, I believe, 7 ounces. Let me see. Yep, 7.6 ounces. So this wouldn't be my first pick for like something like a jerkbait reel, but for crankbaits, like medium divers, like 5, 6 XDs, this is super, super awesome. You can also throw 8 XDs on it with a slower gear ratio. Just the standard 200 is perfect. But the MGL3 spool is going to be one of the biggest changes from the from the K to the M. So some other cool things about this reel, you're gonna have X ship in it. You're also gonna have silent tune, and silent tune stops the spool from rattling around. It has 2 bushings that sandwich that spool. So when you're casting, it's not making a ton of noise. It's not gonna be scratchy. X ship, like I said that, X ship is going to be bearings on each side of the spool. So it's gonna be a great structural part of the reel that doesn't allow the spool to go all willy-nilly. It basically allows you to, it aids in the casting distance as well as MGL3. So in terms of casting ability, guys, this is going to be one of the best reels on the market in Shimano's lineup for that. So I need to go do a test video with this one. I'm gonna spool it up with some like 15-pound line and see how it compares to something like the K, or even something like a Daiwa 103 or something like that. So besides like X-Ship and Silent Tune and the MGL3 spool, of course, they've got the CI4 and Hagane body, micro module gearing, and the micro module gearing, it doesn't have the stamp on it. So one big thing with the side plates compared from the K to the M is the side plates where your reels are on your handles. It's gonna be a little bit thinner. It doesn't stick out as much. I believe the knobs are also the same. Power Grip R to Power Grip R, yep, those are the same there. Star Drag is going to be almost exactly the same, I think, and it's still gonna have a clicking drag, which has awesome feedback on it. I mean, it's gonna, you know, loosening off the drag, you hear kind of more higher pitched clicks, and then tightening down, it gets a little bit deeper, and I really, really love that. They did change the tension knob, so I think you have a little bit easier time gripping this tension knob. Doesn't click, but it does have a very solid feel to it. It's not hard to move. It definitely feels a lot tighter than the K version, which is a lot looser in my opinion, a lot easier to move around. But you know, whichever one you prefer, super, super nice. Again, braking on the M is very similar. You still have the knob 1 to 6 on the outside here, and you can also open up the reel by clicking the button on the bottom, and you can open up and it will reveal the SVS Infinity braking system on the spool here. So if you have all these flower petals outwards here, that means they're on. When you click them in, that turns them off. So that's gonna help you casting into wind. If you turn all of them on, you're gonna have a lot more immediate braking, I guess, overall, and when you turn them all off, it's basically going to allow your spool to free spool as fast as it wants to go, essentially. So typically the way I run my Curados, my Curado Ks, I have 1 clicked on or 1 clicked off most of the time, and then I have 3 on, depending on the conditions. If I do want to throw a crankbait like super, super long distances, I'm gonna have 3 off, 1 on, and then really just play with the external dial here. And the external dial, if you don't know, on the inside of the spool, there's, I forgot what they call it. It's essentially on the inside of the spool here, guys, this plate moves back and forth depending on what setting you have on your external dial here. So that definitely aids with casting into wind. For overall distance, let me tell you this, guys. Overall distance, the tension knob is going to be your best friend. Fine-tuning your overall distance is going to be the spool brake, and that's going to be internally, again, with the flower pedals on the spool. And I think fine-tuning the amount of braking that you get at the end of your cast is going to be the external dial. Typically, I have mine around 4, but I will sometimes go up to around 5.5, depending on how far I'm casting and also how hard that wind is pushing at me or with me. So moving on here, I think one of the biggest things, again, aesthetically with this reel is they have a gloss finish on the top right here. And if you can see that, it's very reflective. I don't know if I like it, to be honest. I really love the look of the previous model, the K. It's literally all just matte black, almost like matte gray, with how lighted or with how dark it is there. But they still bring that matte color back on this paint job on the M. It is, I think there's almost a little more green tones in it, so it's kind of closer to the 150 MGL than the K. So I do see a little more green tones in it, and the box here, you can definitely see a lot more green tones in the box as well. But the middle part here is all black. I wish it was matte also, just black basically. Let me go get a 150 MGL real quick, and I'm gonna compare them real quick for y'all. All right, guys, so I have the Curado 150 MGL right here, and it basically the same reel in terms of color scheme. The only difference is the gloss on the M is a lot lighter than the gloss on the 150. Other than that, I think paint job in terms of the main body is exactly the same. I think other than the spool, because I know the MGL spool in here, I don't think it's a 3. Basically everything else is the same. You know, the body is going to be a 200 size body, so it's a little bit heavier, but you're going to get all the benefits of the casting ability of the 150 in a Curado K 200 body. So if that explains it real simple, there you go. Basically casting ability of a 150 or 70 in a 200 body. So that will wrap up the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Shimano's bringing out a whole ton of new stuff that we're bringing in the store here, so be on the lookout. Arma joints are back in stock now on the website as well, so if you've been waiting to get your hands on a Shimano Arma joint, go check it out, lakeprotackle.com. I think we have 2 colors right now. We've got the like bait fish with the blue, and we also have like that sexy shad, a little purple, yellow, gold color one as well. Spro Chad Shads are in stock, guys. You can get all of them. I think the only one sold out right now is the bone color, and we have some big news coming up. Be on the lookout for another video if you love swim bait fishing. But I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm sorry that the big camera is still not here yet, waiting on that lens to get back, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, again, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on it. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys.